space and to welcome you into our home, and Muse Art Creative Lab. And I hope this is the first for many of you of many events in which we are going to engage with Muse Arts, a project created by refugees and newcomers and run by refugee and newcomer artists to Canada. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we are going to start today off with poetry. Anybody into poetry? Yeah. Any writers here today?
Yay! Are you a writer?
Amazing.
Yeah.
The poetry portion of this festival has been possible due to the collaboration with Shabashare, founded by Banu Zan, the curator of the poetry night and today's poetry session. First up, we have Januku Verissimo. Born in Lagos, Nigeria, and now lives in Toronto, Canada. She has two poetry collections, I Am Memory and The Birth of Illusion. Her novel, A Small Silence, got high praise and was a finalist for the Edinburgh Festival First Book Award and the RSL Prize shortlist. The book earned the Adu Cinder Book Prize. Her most recent book is Grandma and the Moon's Hidden Secret, a children's picture book written in Jabiru and translated into English. Verissimo is currently an assistant.
¿Sí? ¿Eran tejidos? No me acuerdo. Súper elegante.
She is currently an assistant professor in the Department of English at Toronto Metropolitan University. Please welcome to the stage Januku Verissimo.
Hello everyone. How are you? How are we doing today? Are we in bloom? Bloom actually. I'll be reading some of my new poems and maybe one or two from my collection. The first one is called Ewedu. Now Ewedu is jute leaves actually, but this poem is about how I was first introduced to it by my grandmother and the process of making it. Before I learned the English name for Ewedu was jute leaves, or learned to pronounce Kokoros, Olitorios in science class, so it almost sounded like the refrain of a popular pop song. Ewedu's talk and leaves punished me. When my grandmother visited the house to prepare the special Sunday meal the family loved so much, she dropped her bags of goodies and came out the Ewedu. She would make my brother and I sit with bunches of Ewedu stems on our lap and a big steel bowl by our side and ask us to pluck one leaf at a time off the plant stem until nothing was left. Bunch upon bunch for us to pluck and pluck and pluck until we had enough bowls of leaves to feed the whole of Lagos, which was hyper bowl for my dad, my mom, and my two brothers. And as they say, or as she says, any other lucky feet that walk in during lunch. I used to wonder if my grandma went to the market to buy up all the Ewedu, or if she told the vendors our grandkids could spend their whole life picking leaves, since we were about to feed my family and the rest of the city. It always seemed like the leaf plucking was never going to end. Pluck, pick, shed, pluck, pick, shed, pluck, shed, pick, drop, pick, drop. I suffered through it in silence, grumbling over my inflamed fingers. But my brother, who seemed to enjoy plucking leaves from the Ewedu stems, boasted of how he alone filled the ground with bare punctules and whittled leaves. I detested his work for food or fun he got from being a leaf grabber, especially the way my grandma always promised him more meat in a soup when the food was done. I wanted so hard to disappear. in their presence, and when I couldn't, I promised myself to disappoint them and never ever eat ewedu again because it looked, after all, too much like spiragira and was slimy and should not taste great at all, even when it does. And once the smell of the soup wafted around the house, I picked up my plate and asked for more. My grandmother is now dead. My brother eats less of everything, even ewedu, because he doesn't want his waistline falling over his belt. And I am living in a different country, in the city of Toronto. Also, I am no longer a kid, but a mother of my own, with a kid whose grandmother does not visit on Sundays. So my daughter doesn't know what it means to grow up plucking leaves from ewedu stems. But my daughter and I are on a mission to find ewedu in this new city that's also miles from where we came. I search online where to buy ewedu near me. A few grocery stores come up, and I drive down onto the store one shelf at a time, onto the produce section, slowly like a crab. But I do not see any bunch of ewedu stem. I stop an attendant, reel out all the names I know, and seeing him smile, I'm certain he knows what I want. Check the freezer. I walk toward the frozen section to see my dear ewedu wedged in a slab of ice pack. Leaves only, no stem. I should be grateful. I won't be plucking leaves, but I look down at my daughter and pinch my finger. Never a time have I felt a longing for inflamed fingers. Thank you so much. I guess they say that food is all what we always go to when we want to think of home. So I guess there's no way I'm going to write a poem away from Nigeria without writing about food, okay? So this one, it's a little bit about, it's called We All Live Here. So I'm going to read it. A friend had asked me, I'd painted something. I wanted me to respond to the painting, which was questioning, where are you from? And I guess, a number of us gets asked that question now and then, actually. So it's titled, We All Live Here. She tells me, your future says you're from Africa, ignoring that the world is shrined in this air, where invented futures are legend, and lost hides itself at meetings where every smile is a story of ongoing fears. And each day is the same but for different circumstances. The earth is the shrine where one deepens supplication for hope. Although it gives no comfort to the woman with lizard earrings, one of those that learned not to sacrifice her choices at the foot of prejudice in search of liberty. Home is also fashioned body, a non-verbal response to the question, does your country have a flag? The world is shrined in this earth, a continent of willful survivors lived in it, syncopated souls with varying skins like the African Peter. These skin colors perform a convolution of differences that shows that woman 1, woman 2, and sister and 3, while from the same place, are nothing alike, but a body excluding the head and neck and limbs. The world is a shrine in the head. It imagines landscape where a young dream is a mustard seed that grows by chanting Black Lives Matter, until the distrust of eyes that weigh how heavy the blackness rests on the skin, because the rule of pain are different for each land. For some places teach you to run, some tell you to stay and rot. It is at this time that the head evokes itself to be a libertine, the one with a will strong enough to grow a leaf in the mouth, while carrying birds with magical leaves on their heads. The head is the shrine where we deepen supplications for home. The taxi guy knows everywhere. Well-traveled, came with hope to God's own country. And this taxi job is just a start to big things. 15 years counting and the dreams won't add up. What is left is little frustration that are offered as philosophical tips during taxi rides. Don't forget, there are no small beginnings, but big leaps and then status. Lagunju knows the head carries the fate of unmixed colors. Migrant dreamers floating through America, all wellness profiles, the displayed groins, now a New Yorker quarter, who turns every hour you into a storytelling session with those in a rush to head anywhere that is not Africa they see on TV. It shows a portrait of a feminist brutally committed to turning outward when Adonis is no longer a subject. of admiration but torture. There is the profile of Abosede, who is steeped in her name. Once, a friend said someone told her there is no reason to be afraid of the dark when you are constantly living in fear. Do you say the dark is not where fear is? It is with light peeps. The ancients say the heads direct the course the legs takes. My legs have brought me here and it is home now. So when I hear the question, you are from where again? Some days I fail to respond and I move on to be other things. On the days when I find a way to step aside and reply, I was born here, I'm from here, the conversation will always take a curve and return with, tell me, where are you really from? Thank you so much. I'm going to read a third one called A Flower's Tale and Moonlight. I have seen many flowers wilt before their time, as orange feet scratch living stalks into a tatter on the ground. Yet, this does not change or stop the cherished picture of a flower blossoming. Those colors on a tender brown that brightened in the sun as the sparkling drops of dews on their corolla ponder. On our rainbows form on their surface, and for this memory, a flower remains a flower even when it wilts. So there's got to be a word for people who do not die, like you. Eyes watching your friends, feet on the ground, beach sand trapped between our toes, eyes on the sea, calling you to return from where the dead go, where you stay smiling. At how our souls are caught in troubled hours as you go into a realm where dreams are flowers. So I am keeping vigil for the departing moon, because it belongs to us more when it is gone. It belongs to us more when it is gone. Did you know the moon is closer when you're at sea? I'm laying still on my back and watching the skies eat the sun and spits out blood into the clouds. I'm seeing as the moon circles, chips on its side until it is becoming a sickle. I'm thinking of moans and sighs and breath when festering sores heal with faith and people become hope, knowing the moon will always return as a memory floating into their worlds, as a blanket of hearts in the skies counting down dry seasons that revive a new life where things can again grow. So, between the stories of a wilting flower, the sun and the moon, I can tell that even when a flower is trampled on, it does not really die because it blossomed. That is enough to kill, is not enough. That is not enough to kill our love for flowers. That's the end of that one. I'm sorry, I'm a sad poet. But I've tried to read very happy poems, actually. I'm going to try to read, attempt to read a lot of them. That's the best. That's not sad. It's a kind of love poem. Broken hearts. It's love, right? Okay. Dreams should not lose their way, but when they wander into the garage of graveyards and ghostly towns, what poem will protest and fight grief? Before now, my eyes became many things. A river, a mirror, a flower, a door, a lit bulb. It was never cemetery or night. Now in light, my eyes fall into dust, pulling memories into cascade of tears. Here I am in the ends of my morning desires, where my body has resumed an ended dialogue. Here I am, the pot is broken, and waters have scurried to meet the tree roots. Can I still dream to ferry the ocean home? Here I am, with my words finding yours, wondering what words were spoken last. Should I still write tomorrow's poems? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, also another, if you've suffered broken heart, you should be happy. This is kind of taking you back to love again, or something close to that. And we're talking about women anyway, so it's, I mean, it's always, they said broken hearts write better poems, I think, or something like that. Anyway, so prospect, this is another long one. I want to drink the water in the coconut without breaking it. Once you give me smiles that break forth, like sprinkle of sun rays on water and of raindrops from your eyes, I disown Amatan noons. Come, turn me into nothing. Let me flow in and out and about, being the algorithm of unexpressed intentions. I want to find the peak of the mountain without climbing it. Once your hand is meshed into mine, like gears moving car engines, and your china plate brow break apart my anxieties. Your eyes, they say, come, please, look at me. Let me be a reason for a glance, become the binomial of positive intentions. But really, whether I spend the night alone is not an issue. Whether I dream of you each day is not the question. Whether you pity my state sometime is not the answer. As I do wish to be yours or wish you to be mine, I do wish to stay awake when the world sleeps, keeping vigil over my lover's eyes. I want to have tried to have loved. So, this is the point where you hold someone next to you and think of them as your lover or something. I have how many minutes left? I have one more poem to read out. So, I'm going to read one short poem. Something that is short. This is called, I want to read a short poem this time. The land, our patriot, and his lover. So, to you who have sown your berries in the sun, I have seen the dream you gave to your lovers. I have the word you sang into the nights. Dear love, my land, my ties are an asylum of rage. I have imagined the depressions on your chairs, your moans of sighting clays that don't bake. Those pots, those young pots that scatter before the moons, till there's nothing to hold tomorrow's water in place. I have seen you sleep in your own tear, and still you have offered to bring this land some rain. Dear hero of our hungry fables who walk the dawn, how can you speak words to feed such a beloved that denies you the knowledge of your lover's shores? How do you say, come, let me eat the berries in your eyes? Now that you have driven me into this agenda of your love, I wonder if this is that middle season, that time of end, so much that a distance from is heard of your many loves. Did I teach you how love is one berry that grows wherever? So thank you so much for listening. Thanks for the invitation to perform.
Nice done.
Can I please get another round of applause? Thank you so much for starting us off so strong. Next up, we have Beatrice Hausner. Beatrice Hausner has published several poetry collections, including Sew Him Up, Enter the Raccoon, Beloved Revolutionary Sweetheart, and She Who Lies Above. Her books have been published internationally and translated into several languages, including her native Spanish, French, Dutch, and Greek. Hausner's translations of Latin American surrealist poets have exerted an important influence on her own writing. Hausner edited 3 issues of Open Letter, was an editor-in-chief of Lips, is poetry editor of Exile, and was one of the 4 founders of Cuarto Books. She was president of the Literary Translators Association of Canada and chair of the Public Lending Right Commission. A nice warm welcome to Beatrice Hausner.